and he's based in Toluca. So please give a round of applause for Manny. Thank you.
Really happy to be here. Hope you enjoy your lunch. Thank you, Keith, for having me. It's really an honor to be part of this panel with this great gentleman. México lindo y querido means beloved, beautiful Mexico, and we name our presentation after a song written by Chucho Monje. Why México lindo? Why beloved Mexico? Beloved Mexico, and a partner, and a friend, and a neighbor. This is the overview that we would like to present to you this afternoon. And first, check this out, please.
En el mundo existen muchos estereotipos acerca de México. México es mucho más que esto. Tenemos tanto que enseñar.
Thank you, Checo Perez. Hope you win one day. So, safety and reliability. This is something that we present last year. So, remember, all the service providers conduct an audit. So, please rely on a formal handler and a formal FBO. Safety is not a trend. It's not something that it will just disappear. So rely on an FBO that carries certain safety registration, certain SMS. It's really important. Yeah, still not enforced. It will happen one day. There is an official regulation that, of course, established that operators, fixed-wing operators and rotary operators needs to hold an SMS in Mexico, but not the handlers, neither the FBOs, but sooner will happen. Just a reminder about customs. Every passenger cannot exceed $500 US. This is the items, the top of the items that you can bring. Remember, custom, by declaring it's not a felony, just as a reminder of what goods you can bring. If you have an operation outside immigration premises, let's see a wide-body aircraft being served in a certain part of the remote north platform in Toluca, and they're coming during extraordinary hours, well, there will be immigration fees, extraordinary immigration fees. And this is something very new since January 16, 2016. But most of you will not apply this, but just bear in mind that it could happen. If you're holding as a 91 operator multiple entry authorization, this extraordinary immigration fee will not apply to you. This is something that came into effect last year. Trash disposal, catering leftovers. And this is, of course, something that applies nationwide, 15 pesos per kilo. As you can see, we need to find a ways to gain more profit to pay for the wall. And of course, what we've been struggling with NAFIs is the same. Now, if your passengers are bringing their mascots or their pets, there was a screw worm found on a dog in South Florida. So every aircraft, every operation that is flying from the US to Mexico, please be advised that you need to have a certificate of deworm. And this is an additional requirement. This is not a joke. Cabotage, things remain the same. Your handler and your service provider will always advocate for you. There are certain misunderstandings at hotspots. When you're flying someone, when you're flying of course, as a 135 to certain location, but there will be a different operator to meet the same passengers and just taking them back to the US, that's not cabotage. So I'm sure your service provider and your handler agent will continue advocating on your behalf. It's a self-determination process. You will never receive a permit with the seal of Mexico. It's a self-determination process. So if you haven't been to Mexico in quite a while, I really suggest you to tell your service provider or your handling agent if you don't have any outstanding debts. These two email addresses is where you can get your user ID by submitting the information of your fleet. You don't want to encounter any surprises. And this is something that we've been struggling for the past 6 years now. This is the way the NAFI will show you what you own. I'm sure most of you at the beginning encounter certain hassles, but now it flows. It's really easy to do it. Overflights is depending on the wingspan of your aircraft, as we did, we presented last year. Yes, that's what's going to happen. So let's see if your flight department bought a second-hand aircraft and you have certain doubts. You'd rather, before going to Mexico or overflying Mexican airspace to find out if it's clear. You don't want to be banned or to appear on the blacklist. This is the way to calculate the overflight, from the entry fare to the exit fare. Nothing has changed in terms of authorizations and permits. There was a malpractice that we encountered. You cannot submit or apply for a multiple entry authorization for your 91 operators at a certain airport without having your aircraft there. You cannot do that. It's a malpractice. Let's see, if you're going to Cancun and you're flying 91, of course, you need to ask your handler to apply for the multiple entry, but the aircraft has to be there on the ground. So they need to verify all the original documents. Now let's see if your aircraft is it's being chartered. You can hold a multiple entry authorization and at the same time be included in an indefinite blanket permit. This is something that in the past was not authorized, but now you can do it. Demo flights, for those of you conducting or performing demo flights, it's a private operation, but you need to tell your handler, so they will apply the demo flight authorization, where is your aircraft going to be based, and the route, and the locations you're planning to perform or to visit. So for demo flights, you need an authorization. Indefinite blanket permit is a time consuming. It's worth to apply for the indefinite blanket permit for your 135 operation. takes a lot of time. You need to be patient. On the meantime, if you don't hold an indefinite blanket permit for your commercial non-scheduled flights, you can apply for single event authorizations, and your service provider and handler can accomplish that for you. That's what I told you about the demo flights. It's a private operation. Cabotage, it's something that this NOTAM has been in force for 9 years now. And who has been to Cozumel and Tapachula? Just raise your hands. Well, the process, we have learned in these 8-9 years. All depends on your route. What has changed? It's basically the same. Cozumel has more decent facilities. Now in Tapachula, since 2012, you don't need to stop at the Navy hangar and then reposition your aircraft to the general aviation. Now at Tapachula, you can clear everything at that particular spot. Just a few updates. Since last year, now you have more parking space in San Jose del Cabo. For Cabo San Lucas, what's new? If you're going to remain there for several days, now they have 2 hangars up to long-range aircraft like 550, 7X, AX, Globals. This picture was taken in Puerto Vallarta International Airport last December the 31st. You have 2 options in Vallarta, to use the FBO or the general aviation. You can clear customs and immigration right at the FBO. Be aware of fuel delays. Be aware of the time that you will spend to take off. So basically this location and Los Cabos are pretty busy during late October through March, April. Toluca International Airport, that's the Mexican Teterboro. Everyone has been to this particular airport. Be aware of federal police screenings randomly. Be aware of certain fuel delays, as we're lack of fuel trucks. So we're praying and see if the amendments to the Mexican Constitution will pay off by having other vendors providing fuel, and we're crossing fingers that this will happen. In terms of the customs building, it remains the same. They are thinking on expanding. It's not happening. At Mike India Oscar, be aware even that you might be flying domestically, internally. There will be certain screenings of passengers' cabin. Right at Mike Alpha Sierra, Mike Echo Sierra, and Mike Lima Papa, please expect certain men at work at the terminals, ramp. And finally, Oaxaca. Who has been to Oaxaca? Well, this is something that we would like to share. We did struggling finding a decent agent, and you can tell your service provider to contact this company, Aerosync. They've been doing for us a pretty good job. Let me tell you that we did struggle. We had to relocate. We had to fly over our people from Toluca to Oaxaca to take care of the handling. Not anymore. We've been using this entity for almost a year, and I really just want to share and pass it to your consideration. Thank you, and still enjoying the conference. Always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, most qualified.